But they did announce one big name at the end of this event on Thursday, and that was the worst kept secret in wrestling, that Kenny Omega has in fact signed with All Elite Wrestling. He told Dave Meltzer later on that it is a 4-year deal. So this is not a year long or a 2-year small commitment. It's 4 years. He'll be either, how old is he now? He's probably going to be either 40 or close to 40 by the time this contract expires. So you talk about all in. This guy is all in with All Elite. He's putting all of his eggs in this basket. He was talking a little bit about the deal he has. It does allow him to work more with New Japan if they can work something out. Right now they have nothing worked out. I sense there could be even a little bit of, I don't want to say heat, but, maybe not a lot of happiness with how things sort of went down there at the end with Omega and New Japan. But he's allowed to work more if he'd like to with New Japan in the future and do other projects as well. That's one of the things that he said he liked about this deal, is that it allows him to do things outside of wrestling, whether it's video game related. He's got that HBO, I think HBO Canada documentary coming out that he is really about him and his career. That's coming out soon. So he made an interesting comment in talking to Meltzer in that interview, where he said that New Japan was the third best option that he had available to him between AEW, WWE, and New Japan. He ranked New Japan at the bottom of that list and said they were the third best option that I had. The other two were more excited to have me, he said. So clearly, like I said, throwing some shade at New Japan, but still very much open to working with them in the future. Is the feeling mutual? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. One thing that struck me, though, in him making the announcement and thinking about what could have been with him in WWE, and I think he made the right decision here. I really, as cool as it would have been, I think, to see him in WWE, I think he did make the right call, and probably will be a lot happier for it, and I'm sure he's going to make a ton of money. But it was a couple of years ago, in an interview, that he said one, or maybe the one, big reason that he would want to go to WWE, and this was only a couple of years ago, is he wanted a Wrestlemania match against AJ Styles. He said that before my health starts to deteriorate and before AJ hangs it up, because AJ's, 41 now, he wanted one big match with Styles on the biggest stage possible. I don't know what WWE's plans are for AJ Styles this year at WrestleMania. They're not really clear to me right now. But he doesn't seem to have any obvious opponent. I think this was Omega's chance. If he really wanted that match, AJ has no better opponent right now. If he really wanted it, I think this is the year he could have gotten that match. He could have said, look, I want to sign with you guys, but I've got certain things I'd like for us to agree upon first. One of them being, I'd like to work with AJ at Mania. And you know what? WWE probably would want him bad enough, they probably would have given it to him. AJ Styles versus Kenny Omega at WrestleMania 35, what might have been. But he opted to sign instead with AEW. Probably, if we're being honest here, probably after realizing that when that WrestleMania match was over, what happens to me then? Right? I got my match in 2 months. Great. Okay, now it's over. Now what? Now what's going to happen? But, I have to be fair about this, though. For all the shit that gets slung at WWE and the people they've mishandled or mismanaged, AJ Styles is one of the real, true success stories in how, he's been booked by WWE. Since the company, signed him up, since he came over to the company, he's been a superstar the entire way through. Pretty much a headliner almost the entire time, really, that he's been with the company. A year as a WWE champion. Top star on SmackDown. Clearly, Vince has a lot of respect for him. Supposedly, Vince even made the comment to him at one point, I wish I would have signed you 10 years ago. You could have been, my new Shawn Michaels. That's high praise coming from Vince McMahon. And it's also one of the reasons why I'm sure AJ is not going anywhere. I'm sure he is staying put. He is not leaving, although that's not official, because he's a made man there. He's a made man there. There's no reason for him to leave if he can get the kind of schedule that he wants out of him. If he doesn't want to work as many dates, if they can agree to that, then what incentive, what reason is there for him to leave other than, my friends work in this other company? Yeah, but he's got friends in WWE. It's not like he's the the antisocial kid on the playground who's kind of kicking dirt and doesn't have anybody to talk to. If WWE, believe me, WWE is not going to let this guy go, not without a fight. I don't see him going anywhere. But Omega announced that he too, much like Cody and the Bucks, was now going to be an executive vice president in All Elite Wrestling. How many executive vice presidents does this company have? I counted 4. I feel like I'm missing someone. 4 executive vice presidents, I think it is. The best part was after the event, Cody was talking. He was trying to explain what that means. You're executive vice president. Okay, well, what does that mean? He's executive vice president. He's got the same title. What does that mean? What does that role entail? He says, we're going to figure that out. We're going to figure that out. What it is exactly, we have to figure that out. It's like, it sounds nice, but we don't know what it actually means yet. Just give us time. We'll figure it all out. Chris Jericho then interrupted Kenny Omega. Got into a shoving match with him. This is probably going to headline, I would imagine, the show on May 25th. I don't have a problem with that. Yet another thing I saw people complaining about. They've wrestled, yes, they've wrestled before. They've wrestled once. And that was over a year ago. By the time Double or Nothing rolls around, it'll be about 18 months since the one and only match they had, which, by the way, did very nice business for New Japan. Now, Omega won that match. I can see Jericho winning the second match and then building to a rubber match on the next big show that they do later in the summer. But you want to headline your first show with at least one big name. Jericho is not even probably, I'm sure Jericho is more well-known as far as a, quote, mainstream name. I'm not saying Jericho is Hulk Hogan or anything like that, but certainly more than Kenny Omega. He's a recognizable name from WWE. He does music and other things as well. He even hosted a game show on ABC for all of 5 minutes. But having him and then Omega, who to wrestling fans is a well-known, big name, that's exactly what they need to be doing for this show. They need to have at least one big match like that at the top of the card.